Welcome all to this annual Presidential Symposium. I want to recognize in the room a lot of my fellow trustees. We have Dana-Farber Society members, members of the PMC community, and our Jimmy Fund donor community. But most importantly, the true heroes of Dana-Farber are in this room, much of our faculty and staff, and I'd ask you all just to stand for a moment so we can thank you. So this is called the Presidential Symposium, and it's the first one. Ben had just been named president last year when we did it, but this is the first one when he's been our president. He's finished his first year as president, and I think we as a board couldn't be more excited about what Ben and the leadership team at Dana-Farber are doing. You're going to hear lots of exciting things today, but the conversation about the new cancer hospital has been an amazing effort, and we couldn't be more excited about what that means for our future. Today we're at a critical structure or juncture as cancer incidence continues to rise. Advances in research are moving faster than ever before, and we are launching at once a generational opportunity to build the region's first ever dedicated adult inpatient cancer hospital. Again, you saw stuff about it in the video, and it is very, very exciting for everyone at Dana-Farber and really for New England, and because of the research we do for everyone in the world. I also want to talk a little bit about Ben. He is the Richard and Susan Smith Professor of Medicine at Harvard Medical School. But for those of you who don't know him, he's also a brilliant physician scientist who has spent his career focused on blood cancers. His laboratory has worked to define the pre-malignant states for blood cancers and to develop novel mechanisms for drug activity for cancer. Before becoming the president of Dana-Farber, he, for 8 years, was the chairman of medical oncology, which has 300 faculty members and more than 80 cancer research laboratories in it. He's earned countless awards, and we're not going to spend the whole afternoon going over those, and accolades because of his research. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Ben Ebert.
Thank you very much, Josh, and thank you, Josh, for being such a great partner in this past year. Welcome, everybody. This is such a great opportunity for all of our most loyal supporters and philanthropists to hear a little bit about what's going on at Dana-Farber, what the road ahead looks like, and get to know some of the people who are doing the work at Dana-Farber. As a sort of 30-second summary of the year, it's been a truly extraordinary year. We used the word existential threat in the last year more times by far than I'd used in the rest of my life, but it all worked out. So we have faced executive orders of various types, federal legislation. We faced threats to our research funding. We faced decreases in Medicaid funding, threats to Medicare funding. We faced market competition in a way that we've never seen before. And despite all that, I think we finished the year stronger than ever before. We saw more patients by far than ever before, continued our extraordinary increase in volume every single year, at least 3% greater new patients, 10% revenue growth almost every single year for many years has continued. Despite all those threats to research funding, the threats to our academic partners, Harvard Medical School, Harvard School of Public Health, we ended the year with more NIH grants than we've ever had before. A lot of it coming in September when a lot of grants had to get out the door before the end of the fiscal year. We had more grant funding in total than ever before and more breakthroughs in basic research, translational, clinical research than ever before. So thrilled about that. And in the midst of that, as we'll tell you about a bit today, we laid the groundwork for our future. We did an extraordinary amount of planning for our future cancer hospital, our new collaboration with Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital. We made a strategic plan as a roadmap for the coming years, so did an enormous amount of work to get us ready for the coming years. Realizing, looking at this slide, that when I go around these days, there's photographers around, and I don't make all these slides, and so I may have lost all credibility by having a turkey on my head in the photo, but hopefully I can maintain just a tiny bit of credibility. So in my first year here, I've had an opportunity to go all around Dana-Farber. Every department, not just research and clinical, but every administrative department. I've been to every clinical floor, every clinic, adult and pediatric, all the inpatient services, and all of our network sites around Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. And that spirit of the Dana-Farber, the culture, the mission of Dana-Farber permeates every part, every corner of Dana-Farber. No matter what role you meet, people have when you meet them, they know that they are doing their part to support Dana-Farber and to decrease the burden of cancer. And it's just, I've never seen another organization that has that depth of culture and a more committed staff. So incredibly rewarding. Of course, I knew that for many years, but the breadth of that and the depth of that was stunning to see. I was worried that the slide projector would keep me on the turkey on my head. I just wanted to recognize this ended a year ago, our last capital campaign, but it was a record-breaking, stunning campaign that raised $2.5 billion for Dana-Farber and for cancer research, 2.3 million independent gifts from 928,000 individual donors, and 24 new endowed positions at Dana-Farber, which will support our most senior investigators in perpetuity. So a really stunning campaign that laid the basis for what we'll do in the future. And another incredibly important part of our philanthropy is the Jimmy Fund events, our grassroots events. This includes the PanMass Challenge, the PMC Unpaved and Winter Cycle, the Jimmy Fund Walk, which was the PMC Unpaved, was just on Saturday. The Jimmy Fund Walk was just on Sunday with over 9,000 walkers and a record-breaking over $9.5 million raised. It includes the Red Sox Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon that also broke a record this year, bringing all of Red Sox Nation together to support Dana-Farber. So these are just wonderful events that not only raise needed funds for our research and clinical care, but also just bring huge numbers of donors who give small amounts that really add to the community support of Dana-Farber and for all of our patients. So I'll talk till I'm blue in the face about how Dana-Farber's the best hospital you could find anywhere, but it's nice to have a little bit of outside validation of those views. Some come from various listings. The U.S. News and World Report listed Dana-Farber and the only hospital in the top 3 in the country for both pediatric and adult cancers. We had a visit this year from the Joint Commission. That's the organization that reviews hospitals. They spend 4 full days with us going through our clinical operation in extraordinary detail. We sailed through with flying colors. They were so impressed with the compassion that is built into every part of the organization, the quality and safety aspects that are built into every part of the organization, and identified areas where the Dana-Farber will be their exemplar at other organizations for how to do certain things. In the bottom right, you can see we were recognized with the magnet status. This is recognizing the highest level of nursing care. This was our 5th consecutive magnet status recognition, which is something only 2% of hospitals in the country are recognized with. And finally, there was a Joint Commission recognition on health equity, and this was our first time going through that, and we again were recognized with that seal of recognition for our efforts in health equity. I will also talk your ear off as long as you would like about how it's the best place to do research in the country. But again, nice to have a little bit of external validation. And this is one from an economist with the National Bureau of Economic Research at the Kennedy School, a guy named Amitabh Chandra. And he looked at where scientific output happens, at what countries, of course, the US, Europe, England, and China rising quickly. He did a really interesting analysis by looking at where people move around the country and around the world, you can tell by their productivity before and after moving that about 50 to 60% of any individual's research productivity could be attributed to their institution. And that is exactly how we think. We try so hard to create the conditions at Dana-Farber that allow our researchers to do the most innovative and groundbreaking work possible. He also did an analysis to correct for size of institution. So what is the research output per researcher? Because some universities are enormous compared to other institutions. And in that analysis, Dana-Farber had greater research output per researcher than any institution in the world, which is really stunning, followed by, yes. And that's not just for cancer, it's for everything. So I think it really validates the environment that we have and, of course, the brilliant people who do research at Dana-Farber. So I'm just going to recognize a few other representative types of things that we're doing to give you a sense of the types of things that are going on at Dana-Farber. One was the Center for Targeted Protein Degradation. This is a type of drug activity that came out of a number of labs at Dana-Farber, including mine. And there are small molecules, drugs, that can act as a molecular glue, which is what this cartoon shows, that two proteins stick together only when there's this drug present. And that can result in the degradation or destruction of those proteins, some of which we didn't have a way of making a drug against in the past. And we knew a lot about this field. We wanted to make new drugs with it. We had a partnership with Deerfield, which is a venture capital and hedge fund company, and they put in about $80 million. We created a real drug discovery team at Dana-Farber that generated 2 thriving biotechs and 1 drug that went all the way through drug development, through IND, all the toxicity studies, all the medicinal chemistry, and is going straight into the clinic in the coming weeks, sponsored by a major pharmaceutical company that took over the leadership of that drug. So that is true drug development that happened at Dana-Farber in partnership with the private sector. Another example is something led by Alice Shaw, who will talk to us shortly, is the Center for RAS Therapeutics. RAS is one of the most commonly mutated genes in all of human malignancies. It is a target that for years to decades was considered an impossible target to make a drug against. Yet there's been huge breakthroughs in the chemistry that have enabled us to drug RAS. There's now around 20 drugs in clinical trials for RAS. Alice recognized that we have researchers throughout the institution working on RAS in different laboratories, some basic science, some translational. We have clinical researchers in all different diseases, some pancreas, lung, colon cancer, other leukemia, some in adult, some in pediatrics. And we could put those people together into one center and have a synergistic research endeavor where people could work together. The companies could recognize that if they have a RAS drug, this is the place to come to get all their correlative studies and to do the best clinical trials. And so that has been a fantastic success, attracting more research funding, more clinical trials, and enabling our research to do even more to target RAS. If you haven't seen it before, this is about the coolest thing I've seen all year. This is the Nurse Simulation Center, and I think there's one of the representative mannequins out in the lobby that you may have passed as a real person. These are mannequins that sweat, cry, cough. You can change the breath sounds in any lobe of the lung, all the heart sounds, murmurs. You can shock them. And then there's this control room you can see on the right, and the people who are training get observed. There's cameras all around so they can get corrected on what they don't do well. They can rehearse over and over. And this is just such an amazing modern way to train in medicine, to be able to do all the things that you normally do with a patient on a mannequin before actually doing it on a human. So that is truly amazing. And we're actually setting up a full-size, hard-walled inpatient room that is exactly like our future inpatient hospital, so they can train in what will be the real environment. Another great advance in our future planning is a proton therapy center. This has been an ambition of Dana-Farber for many, many years now. Some of you may have heard about it a decade ago, people talking about it, to have the ability to deliver proton therapy at Dana-Farber. In the intervening years, the technology has advanced enormously. When we were planning for it 8 years ago, we were talking about building a huge building just to support the infrastructure for the proton facility. Now, they're much smaller and more compact, and we can fit it on the Dana-Farber campus, which is way better for patient care. The advantage of proton therapy compared to other types of radiation therapy is that it's more specific and can spare other tissue from radiation damage. And this is particularly important for our children. If there's a child getting treated, for example, for brain cancer and is going to be cured of their disease, any of that radiation to the normal tissue will affect that child for the rest of their life, and being able to have more directed therapy will be an enormous advantage for those children. So this is something we've announced in the past couple weeks. We will be submitting our determination of need in the next few weeks, and we hope that this will go fast and could be open for business as soon as 2027. It's possible that a few of you have heard that we're going to build a cancer hospital, and we spent a lot of the year planning. This is coming along, has come so far since we last met a year ago. We made it through all of the regulatory steps at the city and state level. The state needed to approve 300 new beds, the determination of need, and that was an 18-month process and ended with a unanimous and enthusiastic approval of the hospital. The politicians at the city and the state level are incredibly supportive of this endeavor, and it really showed. The whole hearing was full of politicians giving their personal testimonies of the value and care at Dana-Farber. We also got city approval for the building, including the bridges that will connect our outpatient clinics to the inpatient hospital, and that will connect the inpatient hospital to the Beth Israel Deaconess, so we can connect inside to the emergency rooms, the ORs, and the rest of the West Campus at BI Deaconess. And you can see the gorgeous new rooms there in the back, the family area, and these have been, we've spent the whole year really optimizing all the aspects of those rooms and how we're gonna take care of patients in them. Many of you have asked as well about the doctors at Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital who are going to be caring for patients with us. These are the surgeons, the radiologists, the pathologists, radiation oncologists who will be working with us. We've had a huge year of recruiting the most important senior levels of each of those teams, senior surgeons, senior radiation oncologists, pathologists, radiologists, and they are fantastic. Each of the people that have been recruited are national leaders, wonderful physicians, and really nice people who are going to be charismatic recruiters of additional physicians who are going to need to really staff the Beth Israel Deaconess to accommodate our volume. They're going to aim to be hiring on the order of 200 physicians, and they have raised major philanthropy to recruit those people. It also extends to other parts of Beth Israel Deaconess. An example is Hadeen Jaffe, who is the head of the Connor Center for Women's Health at the Brigham and has moved to be the chair of psychiatry at BI Deaconess. So there's the aura of our collaboration, I think, is extending to many other aspects of Beth Israel Deaconess. Within Dana-Farber, two of our major clinical departments, adult and pediatric oncology, have new chairs. Kim Stegmeyer started about 6 months ago as the chair of pediatric oncology. Alice Shaw is the chair of medical oncology. You absolutely could not find better people anywhere in the country or the world to hold these positions. They are amazing scientists, amazing physicians, wonderful leaders, and I just couldn't be more thrilled that they have both taken on these really important roles. And though, of course, these really are the very best people in the country, but it is notable these are the first time that we've had a female chair of either of these departments in this 75-plus history of Dana-Farber. So in terms of the challenges going forward, one of the major ones is actually volume. There's more and more patients getting cancer. The number of new cancer patients continues to increase. Our cancer patients continue to do better and better and continue to stay in our clinics for longer and longer, which is wonderful. And we are about to have a huge step function of taking on all of those medical oncology patients who are currently being treated at Beth Israel Deaconess. So capacity and making sure that we have enough docs, nurses, all the staff, ambulatory clinic space, inpatient clinic space, is one of our major challenges. We face all the legislative challenges that I mentioned at the beginning, but I'm spending quite a lot of time with regular visits to Washington to try to make sure that our politicians understand the importance of cancer research and cancer care. So we've got some significant challenges, but plans all around. So finally, I just wanted to note that we spent a lot of time on a strategic plan this year and spanning all aspects of what happens at Dana-Farber. We have put that together into 4 pillars: world-changing science, from fundamental discoveries to new standards of care, to continue our cutting-edge and compassionate care for patients and their family, from early diagnosis, during therapy, to survivorship. We've added a greater emphasis than we've had before on education. We think that we can do a great deal for education, whether it's fellows, residents, medical students, nurses, pharmacists, or any other health professionals, as well as for patients and their families. And we have a great plan for that. And then in the last column, making sure that we have the best people to do all of those. An example of the new initiatives in science is a major emphasis on artificial intelligence, and that'll come out in just a minute in our panel discussion. So I just wanted to finish with thanking you all for being here. We have incredible pride in the research and clinical care that we do at Dana-Farber, and it's so wonderful to share a little bit of that with you today. We've had an extraordinary 75-plus years of Dana-Farber history, and we're heading into a 60-year agreement with Ecclesiastical Deaconess with 20-year renewals, so it feels like almost a halfway point. We're looking back at that last 80 years and looking ahead to the next 80 years, which makes this really a generational opportunity to define how we're going to take care of patients for many decades to come, and we're thrilled to go on that journey with all of you. So thank you for your attention.